And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, Bryan Broaddus got some money for me over there, over there at the Crown Global. Boy, because it's getting bad for some people, finance department over here in the street. Hey, but we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, y'all. We are getting close, so just please bear with us. Hang tight. It's gonna be a fun one. Starting next week. So y'all be around. Follow me at vochlombardi, but please follow BRY getting Broaddus. He'll be giving us updates about everything that's going on. And when it's on, it's on. Brian, we just left DallasCowboys.com during the break over there. Derek Eagles, and shouts out to Derek. But while we was driving over, we have our first wave of cuts and releases. You know, so we're gonna be doing roster building exercises throughout the week. There, Bryan Broaddus. Just want to say nothing on this list kind of jumps out at me. You know what I mean? But one thing I will say though, Bryan Broaddus, John Stevens, in theory, made the team 1 and 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Injury kept him off the team.
He sure did.
Injury kept him off the team. But if you was listening to Lunda Wells, Mike McCarthy, Stephen Jones, anybody that'll tell you, it seems like John Stevens was on his way to making the team, but injury happens. He was healthier this year, Brian, but we was at camp and he just didn't live up to those last couple of years that we saw him there, Brian. He's the first thing that kind of jumps out to me at this wave list, Brian. Did you have a reaction to that, first of all?
Yeah, it's amazing how players go from like, and you're right, he's on the team. I mean, he is like, we're talking about him like, whoa, look at this guy. Look at John Stevens every day practice. Look at him catch the ball. Look at the athletic ability. Look at him turn up the field. Look at him, it was almost like we were looking at, like when we were talking about Overshown.
Yeah.
That kind of like, wow, look at this guy. Look at everything he's doing. And then all of a sudden the injuries hit, back-to-back seasons. And now he is, he's could very well get a job on the practice squad, still be available that way. But right now he's subject to the waiver wire. And, if somebody needs a tight end out there, I'm sure they could go back, watch the tape. Pro personnel guys and gals, I'm sure have already done that. They kind of figure out like, oh man, this will be a guy. And where does he face, or where do you place him on with the other tight ends? But yeah, it's injury maybe cost this guy a career with the Dallas Cowboys. And he was well on his way to being on this football team. And wow, just a sudden change and some very poor football luck.
Now, Brian, early on the break, we talked about Princeton Fant, and I felt like Princeton Fant the past two preseason games has really earned his way into the conversation. I would say like he's played well for what they've asked him to do. He seems a little bigger too, Bryan Broaddus, so maybe that's a part of the role crafting that they're making for him. Like he'll do some lead blocking stuff and things like that. And it was it a Joe Milton run? It was one of these running backs, but he was like the lead guy, and Joe Milton was behind him, and Princeton Fant smoked whoever was in front of him. But Brian, I don't see. So first of all, let me just say, him not being on this list, that's cool, the first wave for him. But Tyler Neville also got cut, so that's 2 tight ends down. So the tight ends that are left over are like the clear in the conversation guys. That's Valdo Fairweather, the undrafted rookie, and then there's Princeton Fant. What do you think those guys' chances are? Do you think it's close, or they're going to be with this next wave and we don't even have to worry about it?
Yeah, talking to people in the organization last night, I kind of feel like that, and things can change. Coaches can jump into a room and all of a sudden they see the tags on the wall, and they see the cuts, and they're kind of like, wait a minute, let's talk about this. Let's not jump to conclusion. This is the worst time of the year for a personnel guy, because especially in that organization with the Cowboys, coaches do have a say. Coaches are influential in what they do. And, I remember Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. Ted Thompson didn't let Mike do anything personnel-wise. He really was not involved in the personnel stuff. Teddy and the scouts, they built the team. Mike coached the team. Mike comes here. He has a lot more personnel say. Coaches have say. Jerry Jones likes to stand up there and brag about, oh, we drafted DeMarco Murray because of Barry Switzer, and the scouts who went to Norman that year are kind of like going, well, damn, why did I go to Norman then? If we already knew that DeMarco Murray was going to be. So my point is, coaches have influence here. And I'm also saying this because of last night. They were keeping three. It was going to be Ferguson, it was going to be Spanford, and it was going to be Schoonmaker. I did not hear them going. And then the possibility of Hunter Lipke being the fourth tight end and that kind of route, that's the way they were going to go as of last night. And I still believe that's the route they're going to right now.
Troy Pride is on this list here, Bryan Broaddus. He made some plays in the preseason game. I believe he caught an interception. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Just, things like that. Hey, Troy Pride, good for you, sure. I don't ever think that the cornerback room would get so thin that you would need Troy Pride, right? But there's a lot of corners in this room, but Troy Pride did okay when he was around. I didn't expect him to be a part of this thing. Josh Kelly's another name I didn't really expect to be a part of it. Now, Denzel Daxon got waived. Now, I thought because he was from the Bahamas or Panama or something that he was a part of the international.
He's on the international program. We got to see if the international program will be a practice squad spot.
Practice squad spot.
So they've got to get him off, and then they can re-sign him to that. If that's his eligibility for that. Remember Alicombe his time ran out.
3 years.
And there's only so many years you could do that. But this might be they have to remove him off the roster, and then they put him back on the practice squad with that designation.
Makes sense. Christian Matthew got an injury situation there, so he's out of here. Nick Broker, I don't really know him all that much, but
he played okay in the game the other day. Yeah. He's kind of a clumsy, tough blocker. Doesn't pull particularly well. Doesn't play second level, but he's like a fighter. And I was watching him on the because they were running plays where he was having to pull, and they asked him to pull way too much. Yeah. But when it came to the one-on-one stuff and guy over him is in dealing with some double team stuff, he was serviceable that way, but not to the point where you're like, whoa, hey, let's claim this guy kind of a thing. Maybe a practice squad guy right now, but the tape was not terrible. But you could see there's a lack of athletic ability with him playing.
Sure. And the name that we all recognize, Bryan Broaddus, is Leo Collins there. He showed up, had a cool little workout, got some checks. Boy, must be nice, Bryan, to just show up, just practice a little bit, talk to the youngins, and get on up out of here and just, pocket your money. Yeah. But Leo Collins is out
that
of there,
workout. That workout was actually what got him signed. Mm-hmm. The workout got him signed. Yeah, and they were struggling with some of the health of some of their guys. Lyle Collins doesn't move well anymore. Lyle Collins does the workout, the things that he was able to do, the power, things like that. It showed up. I mean, he didn't look sloppy or out of shape or struggling, and that's why they signed him. The play, there's a lot of stiffness in the way he plays. He doesn't move as well. He doesn't move his feet as well. He doesn't bend as well. And that's, I think, why they moved on from him.
Bryan, watching Leo Collins is so strange. His first step ain't terrible, but his second through fourth is bad. And
the longer he has to go, the more trouble that he has.
Well, boy, Bryan, and he knows how to do that Lane Johnson get off the line of scrimmage early thing and not get called false start. Like, he knows how to do that. And boy, he'll get his landmark off that first step quick as hell, Bryan, but they'll still capture the edge anyway. It was interesting and odd to watch. But shouts out to Leo Collins, man. Appreciate you teaching the youngins how to get down in this thing. Bryan, they're gonna keep cutting guys throughout the day, throughout the week. The deadline's tomorrow, so we'll definitely have the final roster there. But Bryan, let me ask you a question, man. This is something I feel like we didn't really get into deeply in on the break there when we just left. I got a couple names for you. I want us to hyper analyze where they sit in this whole thing because I don't feel like we really got into them. The first name, Israel Mukuamu, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And that,
please,
yeah,
please,
go ahead. Go ahead. No, please, you go ahead. Because as we sit here and talk, I want you to talk about what you think, and I'm going to text a message to see if we get something back on him.
He was a free agent last year, Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
Came back for a little bit of money. So whenever that happens, that makes me feel positive about your situation if you come back for a little bit of money. Prior to that, the Cowboys never really had a plan for him, and it doesn't seem like they had a plan for him this year neither. He just kind of lines up and goes where he's asked to go. He played a lot of safety, Bryan Broaddus. He had his reps at corner, but they were just trying him at safety. So once again, he ain't really got a spot. He'll do some nickel stuff, some outside stuff, some safety stuff. I think it's glaring when you playing that much football in the preseason. Some of these cats ain't played preseason football at all. No reps. And you know that those guys are going to be valuable to the operation. So when Israel got signed for his little bit of money, it's a lot to me, but in context, when he got signed for his money, I was assuming that they have found a role for him. Watching these preseason games, they don't, and he's playing a bunch. You remember,
no,
Bryan? You remember in the first game, I came on the show and I asked you. I said, Bryan, it's so interesting that Robert Rochelle and them went out there first, but Israel went out second. He went out in the second half group, and he continued to play throughout the second half. So Bryan, I don't know if they're going to count him as a safety, which is probably worse for him, or if they're going to count him as a corner, which would benefit because we need more corners, I would say. But Israel, he made his big play, his big game one intercept, but I haven't really seen much from him besides that, though, Bryan. And even in practices we're watching, inconsistent, kind of up and down. What do you think that the Cowboys are going to do with Israel? And when he gets on the team, if he does, what are they playing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as we speak, I reached out to somebody. That was one I forgot to ask about last night. So maybe we could get an answer back on that before our show ends today. But I don't know. This is the one where I think they're down corners, of course, because of the health of some of these corners.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they feel like that they're going to get guys back like there's Butler, of course, Diggs. The Diggs thing, I was told, is that they're trying their best to get him back with 8 weeks of consideration. I mean, 8 weeks of practice,
Sure.
or conditioning. Put it that way. Okay, there's still some under discussion, is what I was told as we speak. There's some questions if he will. Okay. So that's kind of where they're at right there. So that was I'm sorry that's as vague as I'd hate to be vague about something, because I like to say the guy's going to hear or not, but still under discussion. And the thought is now that maybe that might not be the case.
Honestly, Bryan, I don't think that's all that vague. And I would love to throw it to you and ask you this: which side do you think is advocating for him? Or well, I guess anybody could be like not one of them there. But do you think like the head coach, maybe the DB coach, like who do you think could be advocating for him? Will McClay or something?
Well, yeah, I think what's happening right now, it's not so much about the ability, it's about availability.
Oh,
that's where I think they're at right now. I don't think it's like, I don't think it's Overstreet, the secondary coach, fighting for Izzy.
Yeah.
I think, okay, if we go into this game against Philadelphia here in 10 days, who is going to be our corners? Who is going to line up and play? Yeah. So I think that's kind of where they're at right now. He is a veteran player. As you mentioned, he's played corner, he's played slot, he's played safety. I mean, there's a lot of things that he can do. But I'm kind of curious. They're in the same mode right now with Carson, is the same way. What do they do with Carson?
Yeah.
They've got. I think that Ravel is going to end up on the NFI list, which is the non-football injury.
Sure.
Injury was suffered while at East Carolina, so that doesn't fall under an NFL umbrella. But you can put him on non-football injury and then get him back off that list. So that's a possibility for you right there.
Yeah.
I mentioned Diggs. Diggs' situation is, I'm sorry, I got distracted because of the text, but I was saying Diggs, they want to get him 8 weeks of conditioning. And by week 2 would be the 8th week of his been able to get conditioning for him. So that's what they're going to try and do there. And see if, I could say, I don't think it's a week 1, week 2. We'll surely see how that all plays out.
Do you think the conversation could be Israel versus like Keemon Hall or something? Maybe.
I don't think Keemon Hall made the team.
Okay, so you think it's?
I don't.
It's over with him.
I think that to me, it seems like to me that they're, again, all these things could change. But as last night, talking to some folks in the building, they didn't feel like that Keemon Hall was, even though Keemon Hall was the starter.
Yeah.
At one point he was the starter in nickel, and this sounds like that. In fact, that he might have lost his job here.
So your 6 corners are Elam, Bland, Childress, Booth, Carson with air quotes, and CJ Goodwin. Those are your corners, basically.
That's kind of, you'd like to think that you had 6. I think that's why the discussions are being had right now about Carson, about and the stuff with Hall. Like I said, the stuff with Hall might turn into like, we've got to have him, or we're going to go short at the position and then try and claim somebody. I don't think they're going to trade for somebody. I do think they're talking about maybe claiming somebody, but I don't see a trade. I don't see a trade materializing. I mean, put it this way. I haven't heard of a trade. None of my gang of 7 is like saying, Dallas is calling around looking for corners or defensive tackles, but they're in a position where they can surely play the claim game if they want.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, boy, the Cowboys paid a lot of money to Elijah Clark, man. Our undrafted rookie from Syracuse. Boy, they paid a whole bunch of money for him, and it seemed like they're only going to keep 4 safeties, I would say. Hooker, Wilson, Bell, Thomas, Wanye Thomas. Clark looking to be cut to be a practice squad guy after making all that guaranteed money, Brian?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah. But what if they go and, like I say, what if they go 5-5? We can't, what if they go 5 corners, 5 safeties is what they do. Maybe they have that discussion.
If your last name is Jones, has Wanye Thomas done enough to keep other guys off of him?
That's been the big. Wanye Thomas has had a very, very, very quiet training camp.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
But him and Bell are guys that they kind of think a lot of. But it's been a very, very quiet. The Smith and our kid from Syracuse is they've done a pretty nice job at safety. They've shown up at safety more than Thomas has.
Yeah.
And the opportunities that he's had to play. So Clark, Clark and they've done. Clark and Smith have shown up in these games.
Mike
3
Smith.
games.
Mike Smith from Kentucky.
Yeah, Mike Smith. Yeah.
That's interesting. All right, let me move on. Let me go. Man, I saw something interesting, Bryan Broaddus, boy. Perrion Winfrey.
Yeah.
Perrion Winfrey got a sack in the game, I believe. Or he was close to it.
He was playing end when he got it.
He was playing edge, Bryan Broaddus.
He was. Yep.
You think they're going to find a way to save an edge spot by going, okay, we got 2 defensive tackles that can play edge? Because Solomon Thomas played some edge too back in New York. Perrion Winfrey is a guy that can play some edge for you.
Yeah.
Do you think they look at a guy like Peyton Turner, and maybe Turner is on the hot seat because guys like Perrion Winfrey can give you some versatility to play 1, 3, and 5?
Man, Turner started off the practices I got to see early
Mm-hmm.
when they were T-shirts and helmets, he looked like that he was a different player.
Yeah.
And he since then has really kind of faded into um, I would be personally disappointed if he was on the roster and say Houston was off.
Yeah.
Because I think that I'll say this, I think Houston and Wheat actually played the run
Yeah.
and rushed the passer better than what you got from Turner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and that's probably low hanging fruit to people right there. Like, oh, Broaddus, that was pretty obvious. But I feel like both those guys have shown up more than maybe what Turner's done. I'll have to. That's another one I need to ask about Turner is what I need to do, because me personally, I kind of feel like if you put Houston out there, that because Houston's the one guy, especially if Micah's not playing. Especially if all of a sudden, Micah is not part of this.
Yeah.
You're going to need some guys that are going to rush the passer. Houston could do that. So I would be I'd be a little anxious if I was doing that.
4, 8. So what I'm having to do now, Brian, is I'm writing down these names. I think the Cowboys are forcing Mazi into my list or whatever. And if they're forcing Mazi, I don't see how you don't carry 11 guys. Because right now you got Micah, Dante.
Oh, I agree. I think they're going to carry. I think they might carry 9 offensive linemen and 11 defensive linemen. Or they're going to probably go 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs. Well, 4 if you include Hunter Lipke. 3 tight ends. They're going to have to go short somewhere, and maybe going short at quarterback is the way that you get the extra
body.
The body on the defensive line.
I got Micah, Dante, Donovan Ezraku, Nealon, Sam Williams, Houston, Osa, Solomon, Toia, Winfrey, and they force Mazi into this. That's 11. That might be one too many.
Yeah.
That might be one too many. They may end up going 10. But the only name I can see you if you force Mazi into this thing, the only name that I can see that you move on from is Jay Toia or James Houston. And I'd be upset about James Houston. I'd be upset about losing Toia because I think Toia got a bright future based on what I've seen so far. But
I told you I'd start the guy, but then again, I mean, that's the whole thing with Mazi's kind of got me, and I get it. I say I get it, but this is the general manager. This is the general manager wants to, he feels like that, hey, this guy, you know what? He showed something to me last year. He flashed. And folks, I know Voch and we do this all the time. I know the comments. I could hear the comments. I'm just telling you, and they don't care what we say. But the Mazi one, if you told me you're going to sacrifice Houston for Mazi, or you sacrifice JT for Mazi, that would be tough for me. That would be tough.
Devastating.
And maybe it's not tough to them, but it's tough to me.
Yeah. How much confidence you got in TJ Bass making this team, Brian? Assuming they do go short at offensive line a little bit.
Yeah, I think the going short is going to be maybe Awesome Richards not being on this team. That's where I think they might go short. I mean, I think it might turn into, even though Awesome Richards was move guy, backup guard guy, tackle guy, he was all those things. Adeniji seems like he's a guy that they really, really like. And this coaching staff is not tied to Awesome Richards at all. So there's a side of me that maybe that they go 9. You say Bass.
If I'm carrying Hoffman, 9, Brian, watch this. So I got my big 5, Nate Thomas, Brock Hoffman, Hakeem Adeniji, and Cornelius. Those are my 9.
Yeah, I mean that's I think I was hearing that Cornelius was kind of in the mix, but I didn't hear it as strong as I don't know. I don't know if they would let Cornelius go to keep Awesome Richards.
I
So they
agree.
might be
I agree.
moving on.
I agree.
They might be moving on from Awesome Richards.
Yeah.
That maybe Cornelius is your ninth guy.
Because these rookies do have an advantage, Brian. Like whenever they draft these guys, they tend to want to keep these guys because they don't do a whole bunch of signing on the outside.
They kind of understand what they have in Awesome Richards. Awesome Richards as a guard didn't look as good as Awesome Richards did at tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But
honestly, Brian, the only rookie I could see being cut right now is Tommy King Basote because they just don't have the body, like they don't have the room for him.
Yeah.
They just don't have the room, and they might want to keep him. And I mean, nobody's gonna claim him or
if
anything.
he clears, yeah, exactly.
But as far as the other rookies go, I think they're all safe, and I think Cornelius is your ninth guy, assuming that they keep 9 guys. If they find a way to keep 10, then I can see Bass being there. But think about it like this: Cornelius is a guy that plays right tackle, but remember they drafted him as a guard. Nate Thomas plays left tackle, but he got some guard in him as well. Brock can play both guards, so it seems like they got guard covered just by way of versatility. So I don't think Bass is necessarily promised. If he makes the team, I get it, but I don't think he's guaranteed anything.
No, and and speaking of that, well, how about another group too, real quick? Maybe you're going to get into the running backs.
Sure.
We need to that whole thing with Phil Maffa. There might be some injury stuff that we're learning about here or going to learn about that they're trying to work through right now. But I was kind of hearing that Phil Maffa was not on the team currently, but there was still some talk about what they wanted to do with him.
Did he get hurt in his last game?
Shoulder. Sounds like he's dealing with a shoulder injury. Yeah.
Yeah. Running into people and stuff.
Yeah. I think he had the problem when he came out of college.
He did. Yeah. A lot of things going on with him. Brian, that's looking like all I got for you right now. I mean, everything else we kind of touched on at the break. And, I like keeping us, just a little different. But we're going to wait for some more names to come through, and we'll come back tomorrow and break it on down.
Might have a better understanding of, more names for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe the full list too.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll work on
100%, 100%.
We'll work on that.
Hey, man, Brian, appreciate you, sir. I can't wait to start doing some mock shows with you. That'll be cool.
Bro, I got the door closed. They're out there banging around stuff right now, man. It's a construction zone going on outside of this door right now as I speak. But looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to having you over. I saw you got acclimated with the big screen. I'm excited about that. I think we got some really, really good opportunities for that to teach people on what we can do. And I can say I'm looking into Dave Campo, former head coach, former defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Dave's like, hey man, I heard about your project. Want to come over? Want to help? So maybe we're going to see you and Dave Campo breaking down film together one day. That'd be really, really cool.
I will be there Wednesday to to mess with my Microsoft Pro Surface Pro.
Yep.
And it'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all be sure to go over to Crown Global Media and leave a like. I think 10,000 of y'all done that already, but I know.
Yeah, 10,100 so far. So thank you, folks.
Brian,
really appreciate it.
That's the easy.
For all my crummy little videos I've been putting up, but I appreciate the response, everybody. I love you guys for doing that. Thank you for. And I can't say it enough how excited. A week from today we'll be up and running this thing. It's going to be a lot of fun.
As a YouTuber, Bryan Broaddus, 10,000 subs do not come that easy. So I want you to be proud of what you did there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you.
It's happening fast, and we haven't gotten going yet. But as someone that has started a YouTube channel before and dug it out the mud, 10,000 subs is ridiculous. And we ain't even got a show yet. So I want you to sit back and reflect on that, and I want you to be proud of what's happened so far, Brian.
Well, thank you. I do. And just one final thing. Thank you to everybody out there, the guys and gals all around the world. Really, really appreciate you embracing what me and Voch are about to do. I promise you are going to really, really enjoy what we have in store from an educational standpoint and an entertainment standpoint, and then just the type of content that you deserve as a fan of the Cowboys or the NFL, the draft, wherever it takes you. We are going to totally be on top of all that for sure.
And we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, and stay tuned for tomorrow. Love you to pieces. All right. Crown.